From Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Division VI WIAA High School Football Championship game. The Cardinals of Highland against the Lakers of Shell Lake. Both teams 12-0 on the season. Good morning, everyone. Along with Brad Ayer, the head coach at Clear Lake High School, I'm Ken Syke. We're glad to be bringing you this Division VI championship football game here from Camp Randall Stadium. Brad, I know you know Shell Lake very well, coaching in that conference, and I've seen a little bit of Highland. These two teams are led by two outstanding quarterbacks. For Highland, it's John Hebkin, and for Shell Lake, it's Wayne Krantz.
Both of them have excellent quarterbacks, Ken. They throw the ball very well. They like to mix it up 50% pass, 50% run. We're just looking for an exciting game today between the two outstanding quarterbacks.
And these quarterbacks are also interesting in that they've been named all-conference at defense, which means they also go both ways, which is kind of the story with these small schools.
You get at a Division VI level, and when you have an athlete that caliber of both quarterbacks, they have to start in your secondary also, or somewheres on defense anyways, and you got to make the most of them.
What is it about the thinking now of trying to play the 50-50 run and pass with both teams? What does that do to another team's defense?
When you're preparing from a defensive standpoint, it stretches you. You just can't isolate on one thing. You've got to look at the whole team. You've got to cover the whole field, and both of these teams will stretch the field today.
The head coach for Shell Lake is getting ready, Mark Kane, and he's all set to go. These two teams having not been to the Camp Randall turf before, and I want to come around to you and ask, Brad, what the key to this game might be as these two teams get ready to go on the artificial turf for the first time on a Saturday morning.
Well, you know the boys from both teams, they've got butterflies in their stomachs, just like any other game, really. Yeah, playing on the turf in Camp Randall is a new experience for them. After the first play, I think they'll be ready, settled in and ready to play. So that'll pass.
We'll see in a couple of moments. Both teams feel like they're peaking for this game, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff of the Division VI Football Championship game, Highland and Shell Lake, after this. This is the 1991 WIAA Football Championships. Now, the players are being introduced right now, and we're getting set here, and want to talk a little bit more about the fact that these teams are peaking. That's an important thing because the season being so long, Brad, you start back in August with practices and you're playing games in August, and here we are in the middle of November.
Yeah, you have to play that regular season, those 9 games, qualify first or second in your conference, get into the playoffs. You play 3 tough games to get here, and as both coaches said, their teams are peaking. Hey, that's peaking at the right time. It's championship time.
Highland is being introduced right now, and they really, in their 12-0 record, haven't been challenged extremely closely in any games. They've been rather comfortable in their margins of victory. And then, of course, when we go take a look at Shell Lake, the game that stands out for them is a game that's a classic, 4 overtimes to advance in the playoff tournament. I think it was 46-40.
Yeah, that was a sectional semi-final game, and they were playing, I believe it was Clayton. It was 4 overtimes, and both teams had an opportunity to win it.
4 overtime game for Shell Lake being introduced right now. Ken Syke along with Brad Ayer. We're getting set for this Division VI football championship game. And I must say, Brad, that to have weather like this today, highs in the mid to upper 40s in Madison on November 16th is extremely unusual, and that has to be a positive, at least if you're the coaches and thinking, hey, we're going to be able to pass the ball today.
Both teams are going to like the weather and the turf. They've got good traction. The hands will stay warm. They should be able to do an excellent job.
Now the players are being introduced, and Brad and I were figuring just a moment before the game that so many of these players, especially in Division VI, go both ways, play both offense and defense. And for Shell Lake, the team you're looking at right now, they have 10 players that go both ways, and for Highland, they have 8. The officials for this morning's game, Thomas Dubois is the crew chief, and he's from Schofield, Wisconsin. His other members are Kingsley Forbes and John Gabrielski of Wausau, and Rich Swan of Merrill. They make up the officiating crew for this Division VI championship game. And it will be Highland in the red uniforms that will receive the opening kickoff. And Brad, what's the feeling right now? What's the feeling on the sidelines among the players? You know it very well.
A lot of excitement. As I said before, a few of them have butterflies, and I always tell my young gentlemen, hey, if you don't have butterflies, you're not ready to play. But once that ball's kicked off and they make that first hit, they'll settle in and they'll be ready to play.
Mark Kane is the head coach in his, believe it or not, first year as head coach of Shell Lake. Mark is unusual in that he moved up from the state of Indiana and took a teaching position and basketball coach, and here he is in his first year. He's in the state tournament. Here we are, set to go, and the kickoff is underway to Highland, and it's taken at the 20-yard line. And the run right up the middle and going down at the 35 on that kickoff return was number 20 for Highland, and that's one of their star backs, Tony Nondor. So the Cardinals will take it over, and what kind of an offense will we see here, Brad, from the Cardinals? We know they've got John Hebkin, and it's the pro set. What does that mean to a defensive coach?
That they're going to stretch the field. They'll have the capabilities to throw the ball outside, run inside, run off tackle, those types of things.
Hebkin, the quarterback, and the give to the second back, that's Rose, and he's hit immediately and thrown back. We'll call it no gain. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Highland Cardinals. 12-0 on the year, 7-0 in the Blackhawk Conference, and here's their starting lineup. Matt Riggles, Ed Fredericks, and Mike Aid are the left side of the line. Right guard is Dale Cagill, a small one, but an all-conference player. And in the backfield, Riggles, Rose, Nondorf, and Thielorn. And we'll see a lot of those players handling the ball as they like to work it around. The give again off the left side and hit and knocked back once again. There's an excellent play by one of the defenders there for Shell Lake, and that's Andy Kidder. Well, 2 running plays, and you lose yardage on both.
Shell Lake does have a tough defense, especially against the run. We'll have to see how their secondary holds up against Highland's passing game. Andy
Kidder, the player just making the play. Ty Hopke, number 6, a defensive lineman, unusual. Eric Holmson also on the defensive line, along with Knutson and Prochnow. Aaron Smith and Ken Ailport are the linebackers. And in the backfield, you've got Durand, Olson, Krantz, and Benzer. So it's 3rd and 12 for the Cardinals from the pro formation, and looking to pass, and incomplete, almost intercepted. The intended receiver out there was Josh Terrell, the 6'4" senior, and so 3 plays and a punt for Highland. Pretty good coverage on this play, Brad.
Yeah, Mike Durand, he also serves as Shell Lake's tailback, is playing man-to-man coverage and just sticks with him.
And so in punt formation on 4th down, the Cardinals, the snap is good, and the punt is a good one. Excellent, and going over the head of the receiver, and it's going to be down there at about the 23-yard line as Chad Benzer really saw that one sail over his head. Now let's check the wind here today. It's a mild wind and slightly into the face of the punter, but still a 38-yard punt and excellent field position for Highland on the defense as Shell Lake takes over. So now you're a little more familiar, Brad, with the Shell Lake offense. They go from the shotgun on the first play.
They show a wide variation of offensive sets, and that's one of them.
Almost intercepted as they tried to hit Benzer. And almost in there making the play for the Highland Cardinals was Joel Olson. And here's the offensive line for Shell Lake. Jeremiah Johnson, Aaron Smith, Matt Prochnow, Eric Holmson, Andy Kidder, and Sean Knutson. And yes, 10 of those 11 names are the same. Krantz, Durand, Ailport, Benzer, and Hopke. A lot of these players going both ways. 2nd and 10, the pitch to the outside. And that's the running back, Durand, and he can't get outside, and he's hemmed up at the 25-yard line, a short gain.
Mike Durand will do a good share of their running today. He has over 1,300 yards on the season, so he'll be a workhorse for him on the ground.
They like to have Durand and Ailport, and the defense for Highland, Terrell, Cagill, Aid, and Riggles are the defensive line. The linebackers in the 4-4, Scott Laufenberg, Ed Fredericks, John Hebkin, and Kurt Hebkin, brothers. Tony Nondorf, Ty Thielen, and Joel Olson. Olson fighting through an injury. There's movement on the offensive line as Eric Holmson moved for Shell Lake, and it looks like that'll be 5 yards against them. So initially, anyway, Brad, the defenses seemed the better here.
I know the offenses came in highly touted for both teams, but you win championships with defenses, and both coaches, I'm sure, are pleased with that.
Head coach Bruce Hebken, you got a shot of him. This is Wayne Krantz, the senior for Shell Lake. 54% passing on the year in a passing situation. 3rd and 14. If they give it right up the middle, and the hole is there, and out to the 30-yard line is Duran. That'll be short by about 4 yards of a first down, so it'll bring up 4th and 4. 3rd and 14, and they go up the middle.
Shell Lake showing another one of their many variations of offensive sets, and just giving a straight dive up the middle, basic handoff play.
So back to punt is Duran, the tailback, on 4th and 4, and he'll be kicking into it's almost a crosswind, actually. High snap, and he gets it away, and it's taken by Nondorf at the 50. Pulled down, and down he goes at the 50. An excellent tackle there by number 58, Matt Prochnow. Now they're going to start it at Highland's own 49-yard line and a 27-yard punt and a short return. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Bruce Hebken, the head coach in his 4th year, and we're 8:45 to go in the first quarter. And the Butterflies should be gone by now, right?
They're gone.
The hits have been made and the players are ready, and now it's a matter of adjusting two very fine small school teams. Hebken on the give to Rose, finds a hole, 45, 40, inside the 40, as Frank Rose found the opening and the biggest gainer early in this game.
Highland's offensive line opening up a nice hole, and Rose hitting it and turns it into a big gain.
They really line up on that I formation, Brad, pretty close to the quarterback. I wanted you to comment, and if you can, after this next play here, on what that means. They give again to Rose right up the middle. Not too much there, but what are they trying to do by having the two running backs so close to the quarterback?
Getting the offensive ball carrier to the offensive line quickly, not giving the defense a chance to react and pursue, really.
Is it hard to see what's happening in the backfield for a defensive lineman when they're closer, or doesn't that make a difference?
Just the quickness that you have to react. The ball carrier has the ball, and he's through the line, and you have to make that reaction before that happens, or he's by you.
John Hebken, 6'2", 200-pound senior. 2nd down on the pitch to the outside. Fumbled out there, picked up. And to the 35 goes Rose. Good hands and a good bounce, huh?
Little luck of the roll.
Sure, we'll see it here in a moment, but Rose never got a good handle on the pitch. But watch. Boom, boom. Oh, there we go.
Sunday bounce.
And it's only Saturday. 3rd and 6 for the Cardinals. No score here in the first quarter. Quick pass out in the to Nondorf, and across the 30, close to a first down. I think he's going to be just short. He has to get to the 29, and so he'll be just a little bit short. But there's the pass. Tony Nondorf, the receiver, but Hebken, a lot of colleges like him as a prospect.
Yeah, he's a good-sized quarterback, being 6'2" and over 200 pounds, and he's got a strong arm, as he showed us here.
And it'll be 4th and 1, and they've got about, they're inside the 30, so not a big gamble here, but it is 4th down and a big play for both teams. And Hebken will push it ahead behind his center, Mike Aid, and let's see where they mark it. Yeah, looks like a first down. First down for the Cardinals.
Got a quarterback 6'2" and over 200 pounds. Less than a yard to go. Quarterback sneak. Sounds pretty safe.
I think so. And you're behind his center at 215. And a couple of guards at 175. I saw Highland play in the state quarterfinals in a game against Marshall. I was impressed with the size of their line, Brad.
For a small school, they do have an excellent sized line. It's not very often that we can come up with the large lines as the larger schools do.
And a run for Hebken to the outside doesn't get much there. Hebken, what is he? I think 1,600 yards passing on the season and almost 300 yards rushing on the season. That's almost 2,000 yards. That's a lot of yardage in 12 games for a high school quarterback.
You got one gentleman like that closing in on 2,000. That's exceptional.
Truly is. 2nd and 9 for Highland in the first quarter here. Division 6 championship game, and boy, these communities are out here to support their teams. Hebkin on the give up the middle, and inside it's Riggles on the carry. Gary Riggles, a 6'9", 195-pound junior, first carry of the game. He rotates in and out with Nondorf. In case you're joining us here and wondering exactly where these communities are, Shell Lake on defense, they're from the large Lakeland Conference. They're in Washburn County, about 60 miles or so north of Eau Claire. And Highland, the team with the ball and quarterback by Hebkin right there, it's in Iowa County, 60 miles west of Madison. So they didn't have far to come to today's game. And on third down, Hebkin rolling left. Long pass, Nondor couldn't get it. Would have been 6.
Defensive back for Shell Lake slips and leaves him wide open and just a little overthrown, or it sure would have been a sure 6.
Let's take a look at it again. Head protection, rolls to his left and throws just overled a little bit. A couple yards back. I'm sure Hebkin wants that pass back again, huh?
You don't get many receivers that wide open in games like this.
4th and 6 for the Cardinals. They'll go at it with one back just behind Hebkin. 2 players in motion. That is a penalty. As Hebkin breaks a couple of tackles, 15, still on his feet, 5, what a run. But Brad, unless I've confused you, you can only have one player in motion.
That's the high school rule, and they would have had to been set for a second. The player is going to come back. Hebkin shows his athletic ability on the run, just a fantastic run.
Oh, what an outstanding run, and it's all for naught. As you cannot have, well, you can have 2 players in motion, but they have to be set for a count before the snap.
That's correct. They'd have to, you can call it a switch or any type of shift, whatever, but they'd have to come back and be set for 1 second before the snap of the ball.
Just a little confusion. 1 tackle broken there. 2, 3 players with a hand on him. 4, 5, 6, 7 players touch quarterback Hebkin on that, and didn't get him down till he was in the end zone. But an illegal procedure penalty, frustrating as it is, makes it 4th and 11 from the 29. Wide receivers to the right side. Hebkin straight back to pass, gets some pressure, throws it over the middle, just overthrown again, incomplete. Intended receiver was Ty Thielorn, a 6'5" senior. So some interesting and exciting plays for the Cardinals, but no points. 2 overthrown passes and a penalty.
Shell Lake's defense bends, but it doesn't break, and they come back out on offense and taking over almost in the same position where they did with their first series.
That's right. Not bad for Shell Lake, and you tend to focus on both these teams so much, saying, boy, they've got a great offense, but defense, both coaches say, really has been a key this season.
Shell Lake's defense has been playing exceptional.
Krantz, the quarterback. From the pro formation, they give it to Ailport, and over the left side, gets a few yards across the 30, out near the 32, the 33-yard line. Ailport defensively leading the team in tackles.
Kenny Ailport being just an exceptional linebacker. He's got good quickness and reads really well.
And probably the number 2 back out of the running attack for the Lakers. 2nd down, running to the right is Krantz, pitching it back to the 35, breaks the tackle 40, and knocked out of bounds near the 45-yard line. Mike Duran, and there's a variation on the option. Is that a common part of their attack?
Shell Lake will attack the outside with the option play. They have all season, and Wayne Krantz and Mike Durand, yes. They run that play really well, as they show here.
We see Highland really converging on the quarterback Krantz and leaving Duran the outside. So it's a 1st down for the Lakers. No score, 4:35 to go, first quarter. Division 6 championship game, and Krantz rolling left, looking to pass, throwing it way up and long, and it is incomplete.
you won't see Wayne Kranz throw the ball like that too often. He has an excellent arm and can thread the ball really well. He got a little pressure going to his left, just did not get set and good enough on the ball.
Yeah, he really put it up there. And the intended receiver was Benzer, who's their leading receiver, and Nondorf on the coverage for Highland. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from their own 44. Shell Lake looking for a second first down. And they give it to Ailport coming to the right side, and good yardage out of bounds near the midfield stripe. They kind of run that cross there in the backfield.
Right, a crossbuck play, and again, that's another play that's very familiar in the Shell Lake playbook.
Seems like they, both of these offenses have a good variety in what they do.
Yeah, both offenses try to pass the ball and run the ball 50% of the time, and we haven't seen Wayne Kranz's arm yet, but I'm sure you're going to see him trying to get the ball to Benzer here throughout the game.
Benzer's their primary receiver, and he's split out to the left side on this play. 3rd and 5. And the give right up the middle to the tailback. And across the 50 into first down territory is Mike Durand.
Mike Durand is a good-sized tailback for a Division VI team. He's 6'1" and right around 200 pounds also, and he has good speed, and he runs really well in traffic, keeps his legs going well.
And also plays defense. So another first down for the Lakers as they have things on the move here at the 45 of Highland. And the give to Ailport, pounding it across the tackle there, and finally stopped defensively by number 77 for Highland, and that's Mike Aid. They're really seemingly running Ailport a little bit more, Brad, than they might normally.
Yeah, I think coming in, I'm sure that Highland had them scouted and knew that Durand was their primary workhorse, and Coach Kane trying to mix it up a little bit, giving it to Ailport.
2nd and 8, just a couple of yards on that play, as Kranz rolling way out to the left and knocked out of bounds. Now you tell me, do you think that was a called run or was that potentially a pass?
That's a design sweep. Wayne Kranz has good speed also, and they've ran that play throughout the year.
Just try to get your best athlete on the outside, right?
That's right. They get enough bodies out in front of him and let him do a little bit of running.
Third and 8 for Shell Lake at the 44-yard line. Two receivers, actually 3 receivers split out to the near side here, and they throw to this side, incomplete. Yeah, it might have been intended for one of 2 players. Out there was Ailport along with Durand, so I'm not sure who was the intended receiver on that one.
Yeah, Wayne Kranz misfires here a little bit again off the mark, and either receiver could have had a possibility of catching, but he really misses both of them.
Behind Ty Hopke and in front of another receiver. So 4th and 8, and Durand will be back to punt, it looks like, although they have 2 receivers split out. And he does punt it. A line drive taken, it looks like, by Nondorf, and he falls at his own 18 as Nondorf was trying to cut, lost his footing, and Highland will take over 1st and 10 with 3:14 to go here in the first quarter and no score.
Defenses are dictating the game so far.
They really are, and that's probably pretty unusual for these 2 teams, isn't it? I mean, they're used to seeing ball movement, especially by themselves. These teams averaging 30-some points a game, and not used to seeing a 0-0 game late in the first quarter.
That's right.
So Highland, I believe, with their 3rd possession of the first quarter, out of the eye, and the give up the middle for a yard or 2, and an excellent defensive play that time by one of the defensive linemen for Shell Lake. I believe that was Prochnow. Bruce Hebkin, the head coach for Highland, sending in the play in his 4th year as head coach. And Bruce actually took over the Highland program because there was talk of dropping the football program at Highland a few years ago. And the give to Rose, gets caught from behind and can't get away. Ailport on the tackle, the linebacker slicing in there and not letting go of the foot.
Getting a hold and hanging on and bringing him down. Kenny Ailport, like I said before, does read well. He's their defensive leader, and he just does an exceptional job for Shell Lake.
Shell Lake out of, what is it, a 4-4 defense?
4-4, they walk their linebackers up on the line. Some coaches would call it a 6-2.
3rd and 7 for the Cardinals. Apparently a passing situation. We'll see if they go with it. No. Hetkin dropping straight back to pass, looking over the middle and throws it. I think throws it away, as there was a little mix-up out there on the right side. And so it'll be 4th down and a punting situation for Highland.
Again, the defense of Shell Lake stiffening and forcing the Highland offense 3 plays and punt the ball.
And we're about to have the 4th punt of the game, and we're still in the 1st quarter. As both teams, a lot of plays getting in here, as some incomplete passes stopping the clock, and teams having a chance to move it, but just not. Here comes the rush, but the punt is away by Thielorn, and it drops and kicks out of bounds at the 49. So with 1:38 to go, it's a scoreless game. Highland and Shell Lake. This is the 1991 WIAA Football Championships. Shell Lake with the ball now on their possession, and the quarterback again, Wayne Krantz. They apparently are winning this field position as they get the ball back after stopping Highland in 3 plays, and now start in pretty good shape from the Highland 49-yard line. From the shotgun, throwing long, a receiver's out here, knocked down, incomplete, intended for Benzer, and breaking up the play at the defensive back there was Eric Olson. Joel Olson, excuse me.
Chad Benzer being Wayne Krantz's favorite target. Benzer has over 50 receptions on the season, and you'll see him go to him often today.
Well, now Joel Olson has had problems with a knee injury here in the playoffs, and it looks like Olson has hurt his knee once again. He had to sit out most of the Marshall game, which was the 2nd tournament game, and had to sit out part of the game against Cashton that Highland won. So Joel Olson, who's a key receiver and defensive back, looks like he's re-injured his knee once again. It's kind of a twisted knee is what they've been calling it, and they were hoping that he'd be able to play just defense, but it looks like Joel will not be playing the rest of this morning and this afternoon here.
We don't like to see players injured at all. I'm sure Coach Kane from Shell Lake would like to see him playing on the field also.
Oh, good defensive play in there. And still going. How did that happen? Was that, yes, it was Duran. Excellent second effort.
Mike Duran keeps his feet going well, as I said before, and he shows it on this play. He stopped at the line of scrimmage, bounces off the tackles, and keeps her going and can turn it into a gain here. We'll have to see what the penalty is.
Looks like it's a face mask. Watch this second effort. 2 players couldn't wrap up. Excellent, excellent play by Mike Duran, and a face mask at the end tacks on 15 more yards. So suddenly, Shell Lake is at the Highland 29-yard line. Ty Thielorn in at the defensive corner position for Highland to replace Joel Olson. And Shell Lake on the move. The give again to Duran, and he finds some operating room, gets it inside the 25 down to the 23-yard line.
Again, a little misdirection play out of the eye, faking the fullback one direction and having your tailback cut back the other way.
Duran, an all-conference performer in the large Lakeland Conference. There you see Mark Kane yelling and saying, "Come on, guys, we got to get it in here." We're in the final minute of the 1st quarter. Movement down the left side, and that'll be an illegal procedure against Shell Lake.
Coach's nightmare.
You got it going, right?
Right, you're moving the ball, and all of a sudden we call them drive stoppers. You run into one of those.
That'll be 5 yards back for the Lakers. Left guard and the left tackle. And oftentimes that looks, when two players like that, it looks like they just had the wrong snap count.
Yeah, and then being aggressive as they are, they wanted to get off quick.
Krantz back to pass, gets a little pressure, and down he goes. The sack by number 77, Mike Aid, the nose tackle, and a loss of a couple more yards.
Excellent defensive pressure by Highland and making the sack on Krantz.
There you get a good shot of Mike Aid. So that'll bring it to about 3rd and 13. They need to get inside the 20. The 19-yard line is the goal here. And they're back at their own 32-yard line. And that ends the first quarter, and it is a scoreless first quarter in this Division VI championship game. Highland nothing and Shell Lake nothing. We'll be back with the second quarter after this. This is the 1991 WIAA Football Championships. So Brad Ayer, head coach at Clear Lake, after quarter number 1, no score. Defense is dominating. What do you think so far?
I know the fans themselves were expecting to come out and see the two quarterbacks putting the ball in the air and putting up points. I know from a coach's standpoint, we always realize that a defense wins you championships, and that's what's dictating the game so far.
And it's important for these teams to have the patience that they need to hold on in there. I know that Shell Lake has had a number of close games, and Highland has had a couple, so that they don't panic when they don't have that lead that they've been comfortable with all season.
Both teams are senior dominated. In general, you won't run into a panic situation with seniors. Oh, unless there were some mistakes made and one team would happen to get down by a couple, 3 touchdowns, which they're not used to, then you might see some of that.
We're set for the second quarter. Shell Lake 3rd and 13 on the Highland 32 from the I formation. Krantz drops the ball. It's loose, still loose. Who has it? It looks like the Lakers have recovered. And who gets it but Durand, the running back. I'll tell you, about 5 or 6 players had excellent shots at that loose ball.
Could have been anybody's football. As you said, 5 or 6 from both teams had a shot at the football, and Shell Lake comes up with it and puts them into a punting situation.
Well, they're at the Highland 42. Good place to fake it here, perhaps, but Durand is back. And he will punt it. Off the side of his foot, it bounces at the 26. A Shell Lake bounce and goes out of bounds at the 18-yard line. So from there, Highland will start once again, as they are having the worst of the field position now. So there's been some offense in this first quarter and a couple plays in the second quarter, but nobody's been able to maintain the offense as they got into the other team's territory.
And that's a key there. You want to try and sustain some type of drive. They're having some success on a play here and there, but just not able to put it together for a long drive for a touchdown. And you got to give credit to both defenses for that.
And again, defense the key for both teams, as coaches say. In fact, the defense for Shell Lake has improved tremendously over the season. And now Hebken on the sweep gets it across the 25 to the 27-yard line. And again, the athleticism of these quarterbacks is just tremendous.
Both quarterbacks have shown it so far. Again, John Hebken from Highland here on the run, showing his ability and picks up a nice gain.
Has some blocking out there from his running backs and actually taken down partially by his own man. So that's a first down play for Highland. And they give it to Rose on the right side, hit and taken down. An excellent defensive play by, was that Durand again? Yep, it was, 15. Mike Duran making the play. It's not unusual for some of these players to never come to the sidelines during a whole game.
That's about right, unless you can get them a break on a special team here and there. But for the most part, they're out there for the whole game.
That's wonderful. That's the way to play it, boy. And again, that's more common in the smaller school football, although it's not unusual in the large schools. And the give to Rose, and he's pulled down from behind as Sean Knutson, an all-conference defensive tackle, got him and wrapped him up. So that'll make it 3rd and 7 for Highland from their own 31-yard line. Kind of unusual for Highland to be scoreless even into the second quarter. They've been averaging about 30 points a game. Hebken looking long and throwing short, incomplete. Intended receiver was Josh Terrell, and a late flag. Looks like what? Defensive pass interference?
I think that's what they're going to call Kenny Elport making the tackle. Judgment call on the official's part here, and it'll give Highland a first down.
Well, the rule is you can't hit the player before the ball arrives. Well, it looks like he might have had his arms on him as the ball arrived. The official took his time and thought about it, and now they're marching off the yards. What is that, 15?
With an automatic first down.
Right. So 1st and 10 for Highland on the pass out to their own 46-yard line. As we're early in the second quarter here, and what's turned out to be an interesting defensive battle, but offenses have been moving. Back to pass is Hebken, looking, coverage there, and is pulled down from behind. Excellent defensive play by Prochnow, Matt Prochnow, the defensive lineman, and an outstanding player, and I believe a captain also for Shell Lake.
Matt Prochnow being a key to the Shell Lake defense. 6'3", 235, and he shows good speed here in dragging John Hebken down.
I think these quarterbacks, especially Hebken, is used to being caught from behind. And now we'll have a timeout by the Cardinals of Highland. 8:57 to go here in the second quarter, and there's no score. Highland and Shell Lake. This is the 1991 WIAA Football Championships. I didn't see the reason for that timeout, Brad, but Hebken was pulled down hard from behind.
Might have been shaken up a little bit. Coach Hebken wanted to reorganize here a little bit and talk with the troops and see if they can get something going here on offense.
There's Bruce Hebken. You get a shot of him in there again in his 4th year at Highland. 12-0 on the year and 7-0 in the conference. So Highland wrapping up their timeout and set to go. It'll be 2nd and 15 as that sack was worth a loss of 5 yards for the Lakers. And Hebken in perhaps another passing situation. Now motioning into a slot formation. And rolling to the right, cutting back. And still fighting, keeping his balance and getting out to the 44-yard line. A gain of about 3.
Shell Lake's defense showing excellent pursuit on the play. They've got 5, 6 yellow jerseys there.
Well, Highland on the tournament trail has defeated Cashton in the state semifinal 28-8, defeated Marshall 20-12, and then had a very close game against Seneca on the first round of the tournament, 12-6. So they've had some relatively close games here in the tournament and should be used to facing some fine defenses as they are here in Shell Lake. Hebken throwing long, double coverage, and incomplete. Well, they had excellent coverage there, did Shell Lake, on the intended receiver. As I'm trying to catch the number out there, that was Nondorf out there. Here we'll see the pass, and look at the excellent coverage. The quarterback, Krantz, and also, was it Benzer back there?
Eric Olson, I believe, another defensive back for Shell Lake.
Punt is from Thielorn through the hands of one of the Lakers, but backed up and picked up at the 15. This is Hopke, and out to the 27-yard line. And there's a heads-up play for Shell Lake by Ty Hopke.
You won't see too many balls go through the hands of Chad Benzer. He's just got exceptional hands and misjudges a little bit here.
A little tough to catch a punt over your head, but doing the right thing was Hopke and backing him up and able to pick it up there. That was a loose ball for a moment. So Krantz leads them to the line of scrimmage from their own 27. And the give to Duran breaks one tackle and falls forward to the 28-yard line. We'll call it the 29. And I think another thing that's developing here, Brad, is that both teams a little hesitant to put it up. You don't see a lot of passes here on first down, preferring the run.
Close ball game, 0-0. They don't want to make a mistake, give the other team field position.
Full house backfield, and Duran hit behind the line of scrimmage. Who was in on the stop there? Looks like Josh Terrell as well as Mike Aid. Well, Aid's a big one. 5'11", 230, and a senior. And again, as you talked about earlier, Brad, these are heavily senior-dominated teams.
Yeah, at Division VI level, that's what's going to lead you to this point at Camp Randall.
Quick pass, look-in pass is complete to Benzer, and a first down for Shell Lake.
That's one of Wayne Cran's favorite pass, the quick slant to Benzer, and he throws it really well. He throws it on a rope, and as we've seen here, he gets the ball to Benzer quickly.
You know, I don't know why more teams don't use that quick look-in pattern. That is open so often, whether it's high school, college, pros, it's there. First down for Shell Lake at their own 44 to give up the middle. That's Durand again, and stopped by Hebkin. But a pretty good gain of 4 yards. As Durand about 1,000 yards on the season, as you see a couple of fans sitting up there in Section L. Got a lot of room up there.
Getting away from the crowd.
Lots of room here at the cavernous Camp Randall Stadium, but the excitement that these communities have and the support that they're receiving is phenomenal. Krantz looking, one receiver out there, and throws it to him complete at the 34-yard line. And it's Benzer once again. Now, it looked like Benzer was out of bounds at one time. And now they're going to wave it incomplete. Can a receiver go out of bounds and come back in?
No, he cannot go out and come back in and catch the ball.
Well, I think that's what they're ruling here, because he was, no, actually he caught it out of bounds also. But he was out of bounds a couple of steps before he actually caught the pass, and then 1 foot was out of bounds also. So it's an incomplete pass for the Lakers, and they're faced with a 3rd and 6. Wide receivers to the right side. And Krantz to pass. Quick pass, open over the middle. Has his man out there. That's Sean Knutson, and a first down.
Sean Knutson from his tight end position. He, throughout the year, Benzer would draw most attention, and the pass underneath to him has been open, as they show here.
Now the tight end was on the left side and just crossed over, and there it was, wide open underneath. And Hebkin on the tackle. But not before it's a first down. And equipment repair out here, a momentary delay for one of the defenders for Highland. Nothing game. 5:34 to go, second quarter at Camp Randall Stadium, Division VI. The pitch back to Duran, looking for a spot, And across the 40 to the 36. Boy, he doesn't get the hit right there, and he's got about 10 more yards.
Gets a nice lead block by his lead halfback and cuts it up underneath the block and turns it into a 5-yard gain.
It would appear after watching these teams for about a quarter and a half that Shell Lake is a little quicker and Highland a little bigger and stronger. Would you agree with that or not, Fred?
Yeah, it appears that way. I'm sure that Highland does have good team speed, and they just haven't had a chance to show it yet.
Durand again to the outside. This time it's strung out nicely and only gets about a yard or two. Well, again, both coaches pointing to these teams' defense as being key in their seasons. In fact, for Highland, Bruce Hebkin saying that defense has been the biggest surprise for his team. And you see Mike Durand this morning has been a very busy player and averaging over 5 yards. Still has the ball as Krantz looking for an option. Throws it out there, and it's a fumble and a recovery for Highland. And boy, Wayne Krantz is mad at himself right now as he looked like he thought about pitching and then lost it.
Well, Wayne would like to have that ball back. He thought about pitching, was going to run, and then at the last minute decided to pitch in traffic and loses the football, and Highland recovers.
The old bugaboo with the option, huh?
One of the problems with it.
He thought and then just dropped it is what happened.
Loses the handle.
Yep. So the turnover. See, is that the first turnover of the game?
I believe it is.
Yeah. Shell Lake, one turnover. And Highland will go with Riggles trying to go on a counter play. But that's stopped nicely by the defensive line. Let's give credit to some of these players. It's a lot of the same names, but they're in there and doing an outstanding job. Along the defensive line again for Shell Lake is Andy Kidder, 64. 35 is Sean Knutson. Matt Prochnow, 58. And Ty Hopke, number 6. You don't see a player with number 6 usually along the defensive line. 2nd and 9. Looking over the middle and throwing long on the right side, incomplete. An excellent defensive coverage out there by Wayne Krantz as they tried to hit Nondorf. Boy, you can tell that Highland really likes the big play. When they throw long.
Yeah, they're trying to hit the home run on that type of play, and give credit to Shell Lake's secondary has it well covered.
And putting some pressure on Hebkin, too. He had to get rid of that in a hurry.
In talking with the Shell Lake coaches prior to the game, that was one of their biggest concerns, is trying to get pressure on Hebkin.
Well, it seems like they're doing it, at least on that play. 3rd and 9. And Hebkin rolling to the left. Throws out in the flat this time. Incomplete. I was going to say not complete, incomplete, as the intended receiver out there was Josh Terrell. And again, they're throwing into double coverage.
Yeah, and Eric Olson puts the hit on as he's trying to receive it, forces the ball to come loose, and an incomplete pass.
Great pass defense for the Lakers. And so another punting situation. And Highland right now has a little confusion and has to call a timeout. I believe their punter, Thielorn, was not out on the field. They had 10 players out on the field. They're missing a punter.
Got to have him if you're going to punt the ball.
A little confusion there. So Highland forced to call, I believe, their 2nd timeout. And this is, for those of you not familiar with high school football, this is truly one of the best rules, that the coach is able to come out there right in the middle of the huddle during a timeout. One coach only.
Right. You can come out onto the field with your team, one coach, or you can even bring them over to the sideline in front of your bench.
That was put in a few years ago now, but that's very, very good rule, and I'm sure welcomed by the coaches.
Yeah, real helpful to us. We can get specific instructions to players, and just a good rule change.
So now they're all set to punt, as it'll be done by Riggles. It's a high kick and a fair catch called for and taken there by Benzer. And so from their own 37-yard line, the Lakers will begin 25-yard punt. And the Lakers will start from there. We're in a scoreless game, 2:56 to go in the second quarter. And if you're Mark Kane and Bruce Hebken, you're thinking, boy, we really don't want to turn it over now.
Nope, not at this point. 0-0 going into halftime. I think both coaches will really be happy with their defenses.
Krantz over the middle, incomplete. And behind the intended receiver, I believe that was Benzer out there. Two receivers out in the vicinity. And also behind the defenders. Do you get more conservative, Brad, when you're in a low-scoring, tight game? With you more conservative with your play calling?
I think at this point right now they would be. You don't want to give up that big play that could change the momentum. But really, no team has momentum at this point.
Three receivers to the far side. And was there movement? A flag is down. As the officials confer, and it is illegal procedure against the Lakers. It sounds a little quiet here at Camp Randall when you compare to the normal crowds here. Yep, left end moved. But these towns out in great numbers. As a matter of fact, Highland sold more tickets than they have people in town. Screen on the right side is complete to Duran, but recovering nicely. And I think that time Mike Duran might have done better to go to the outside. His blockers were there.
Yeah, he had a wall set up to the outside. Mike Duran electing to come back to the middle. Highland have an excellent pursuit, and they hold the play to a 1-yard gain.
Of course, that's so much easier to see when you're up above here.
20/20 hindsight.
Good play to get the blocking there. And there, when he cuts to the left, he cuts back into the traffic, and the tackle made. 3rd and 13, and from the shotgun. Looking, intercepted by Highland. It's Rose, and down at the 30. Hesitation from Krantz, and then the turnover, and there's 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
One of those things we talked about earlier. You just don't want to make that mistake at this point. With 2 minutes left in the half, Highland gets a chance to go in and score, maybe gain the momentum.
He hesitated and then threw it and overshot his intended receiver. That was Knutson, and Rose was there for the interception. So let's see if this turnover, the first turnover by a team in their own territory, will hurt the Lakers or not. Hebken, complete to Thielorn, and down at the 17. First down. But it's almost like you can sense Highland saying, hey, we got it. Let's go.
We've got an opportunity. Let's take advantage of it.
And again, I think that's the veteran team part of it. And let's see now if Shell Lake can respond. Boy, Hebken does have a nice arm, doesn't he?
Throws the ball really well.
Didn't really have his feet planted on that one and put it right on the money. Hebken rolling to the left. Pressure and down. Great defensive play out there. Who was it? Was it Kidder? Yeah, it was. Andy Kidder, number 64, broke through and made the sack. Kidder just split the gap there between the guard and the center. Well, that was Hopke. I was looking. Kidder came in from his right side, but that's a big play.
Showing good quickness and speed and just trips him up.
So, 2nd and about 22. The out and up for Thielorn, and almost intercepted. Benzer out there on the coverage, and Benzer did not take the fake on the down and out.
Highland trying to run the out and up pass and get Benzer to bite, but not a chance this time.
Thielorn had made the cutout on the arm fake and actually almost intercepted. So 3rd and 22. As Hebken, whoa, 2 for 10, only 18 yards.
I'm sure he's not used to those kind of statistics at the halftime of a game.
They've been throwing long patterns, and now he throws into double coverage. Was that complete? Yes. Josh Terrell, an outstanding catch.
Excellent concentration on Terrell's part. 2 people there, one cutting in front of him, one making the tackle, and he makes the reception.
Wow. Coverage was right there, as Brad said. And here it is again. Whew. Takes it right over the top of Durand and in front of Benzer. And now Highland calls what is, I believe, their 3rd timeout, as they will have 4th down here, and they're back to the original line of scrimmage after the sack. So it's 4th and 10. And if you're thinking about, well, how about a field goal? You don't often see long field goals in high school football, and this would be a very lengthy one. It would be about a 35-yard field goal.
That would take a good leg for a high school player, and I don't think you're going to see that at this point. The big play for both teams, Shell Lake defense, Highland offense, 4th down and 10. We'll see what happens.
The Shell Lake cheerleaders looking for some defense from their team. You got a shot earlier of the defensive coordinator, Dennis Williams, who's done an outstanding job, according to head coach Mark Kane, with bringing the defense along and improving them. 30 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter. 4th and 10. Man in motion. Pressure. Hebgen looking and throwing. Oh, his man was open at the goal line, but the pass was off target. Ty Thielorn was open, and the pass was short and to the left.
Hebgen getting a little bit of pressure up the middle, and just not quite set, and short arms the ball a little bit. Shell Lake's defense coming to the test and turns them away.
Good pressure on there, but Hebgen got out of it. And Thielorn was open, but the pass again a little to the left. So 24 seconds to go. 1st and 10 for the Lakers as they fight off the danger of the turnover. And Durand, 25, out to the 29-yard line. Mike Durand using his ever-moving legs to break a tackle near the line of scrimmage. In the pile, gets away, cuts back. There's the tackle break right there. And pulled down from behind by Ed Fredericks for Highland. Now 17 seconds to go, and Shell Lake has called a timeout. And there's Bruce Hebgen again, who is the head coach for Highland. And there you see the clock. Well, did you think it was going to be 0-0 at halftime potentially?
No, and I don't think there's very many fans in the stands that think that either. I think both teams came in here scoring a lot of points, and that's what a lot of people expected to see. But hey, give credit to both defenses.
Well, Shell Lake has averaged, well, they totaled 295 points in 12 games, so that's about 25 a game. And Highland is even higher than that. They're 364, which is basically 30 points a game. So to be scoreless for 2 quarters is unusual, but again, this is the state championship game. 2 fine teams who have fought their way through to be the best. France looking left and overthrowing his receiver out there. And that's twice now that Krantz has double pumped on the passes, and I think he might be just a little too hesitant right now.
Yeah, a little hesitant on Wayne Krantz's part, and I'm sure that if he can settle down, feel more comfortable here, he'll put the ball on target.
Well, a veteran quarterback, 3-year starter for the Lakers, and an outstanding athlete. I understand all conference in 3 sports.
That's correct. He's an excellent basketball player, excellent baseball player.
13 seconds in the quarter, and they'll just run it to Durand right up the middle, kind of saying, okay, we'll let the clock go, and yeah, but they're going to call a timeout. I thought they were just going to let it go here, and 7 seconds to go, and they'll call another timeout. As they just gave it to Durand right up the middle. Blocking was their pretty good gain, but not much time left on the clock. So now what do you do? Is it the same as what the college and pro teams do? Throw it up and hope for a miracle?
Well, Shell Lake has that in their offense. I know that. And I'm sure with Wayne Kranz's arm, he can air the ball out 60 yards in the air. They may take a shot at it.
Well, it worked a couple weeks ago on the professional ranks. Twice in one day, as a matter of fact. So we'll see what they can try to do, or if they've got some trick play, huh? The pass and lateral or something like that.
I'm sure Coach Kane has that in his offense. As I said before, he has a lot of offense, and you may see something like that here.
Now trying to convert on third down. This conversion would be their 10th, and this would have to be for a touchdown. 7 seconds to go. And looking for the double pass, and they do it. Out here, it's complete. Caught by Benzer as he fought off the defender, but that is the last play of the game. Well, the double pass, actually not a double pass, that first one was a lateral, but the defense wasn't fooled, and we go to the locker room tied at halftime. No score, an entertaining first half. Offenses moving the ball, but just not able to sustain any kind of drives as they moved into the opponent's territory. So it's 0-0 at halftime as the players head to their respective dressing rooms.
You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh.
As November goes by, you must remember this. The winners of the Pick Flicks contest will air on Wisconsin Public Television every Saturday afternoon at 4. You picked your favorites. Now we play them again. A spaceman lands in Washington, D.C. with a warning for Earth's people in the day the Earth stood still.
Anne of Green Gables, a remarkable young girl whose imagination and red hair cause her no end of trouble. An orphan, taken in by an elderly brother and sister, she grows from an awkward girl to a mature young woman. Megan follows Colleen Dewhurst and Richard Farnsworth in the Emmy Award-winning Anne of Green Gables.
Coming soon as part of December Magic.
You are watching Wisconsin Public Television on WHA-TV, Madison. Presentation of WIAA High School Championship Football is made possible in part by Beatrice Cheese with plants in Mayville and Seymour, Wisconsin, and Armour Dairy in Monroe, Wisconsin.
The 1991 Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association's football championships are made possible in part by a grant from the Wisconsin Cable Communications Association. Cable TV, a part of the good life in Wisconsin.
Ken Syke and Brad Ayer back at Camp Randall Stadium as we are getting set for the start of the second half. And yeah, nothing, no points scored, but I wouldn't call it exactly, Brad, a boring or a dull first half. A lot of passes thrown, quarterbacks getting the arms out and throwing a lot of long passes, one interception, one turnover, and teams moving the ball at least relatively well, as we'll see from the first half stats. Highland, 5 first downs, 3 for 12, but again, a lot of long passes in there. 30 passing yards, 22 rushing yards, and just a couple of penalties. Shell Lake, by comparison, 7 first downs, 4 for 12 passing. A little better yardage-wise, 47 yards, 69 rushing yards, so that's about 116 total yards. So when you look at total offense, Shell Lake the better, 116 to only 52 for Highland, and Highland really just moved the ball in that one drive in the first quarter where they got it inside the 30.
Right. Shell Lake starting out from their 29, 28-yard line the first 2 times, and Highland keeping them there. And then Shell Lake able to move the ball down the field, switch really where the play was taking place to Highland's end of the field. Shell Lake coming back with a turnover right before half, giving Highland that chance to score, but their defense rising to the occasion and keeping them out of the end zone.
And, of course, one of the positives, as you take a look at Mark Kane there, one of the positives about this whole situation is that you know that the weather's not going to get in the way if you're ever able to get the offense going. Bruce Hebkin in his fourth year and has had 8 seniors starting for 3 years, and that's where that veteran team comes in. Of course, Shell Lake, that's kind of an unusual situation with Mark coming from Mark Kane for Shell Lake, coming from Indiana University, just a graduate of Indiana 2 years ago, and I guess he knew some friends who vacationed up in the Shell Lake area in the summer. Are you familiar with that story at all, or not?
Right. Mark, being from Indiana, did have some friends up there who would vacation up in the Shell Lake area, and Shell Lake had a position opening on their staff in the teaching 2 years ago, and an assistant coaching position. Applied for it, was able to get it. Has done just a tremendous job. I know Mark would also want us to mention his assistant coaches. Jim Campbell has been there for 17 years, I believe it is, and Jimmy's just done an exceptional job also. The changeover of head coaches, Dave Williams, the defensive coordinator, also doing a great job for him, and like I say, I know Mark would want those guys to get their recognition also, because they've done a good job for him in the transition.
Well, it takes a lot of work to keep a high school football program going anyway, and especially so you need a lot of the community commitment in the smaller communities. Again, both of these small communities and small enrollments. Shell Lake only 178 in the high school, grades 9 through 12, and a population of about 1,100 in Washburn County. Highland, whose band you're seeing right there, has a population of only 840, and their school enrollment is 115. And an amazing statistic about Highland, as you take a look at the football team out there, there's 40 members of the high school team, and there's only 51 boys in the high school. 40 out of 51 are playing football.
I was going to say, they must have just about every boy in the high school playing football, and that's pretty close.
It just shows you what it means to a community, and again, when you see that the population of the community is 840 and they've sold 960 tickets, you know that they've pulled people in from throughout the area, and you see a lot of that area support for these two teams as they move into the move down the tournament trail. Just to update you on other games that have taken place this weekend here at Camp Randall Stadium, we've had some close games, and this 0-0 game continues that, as in Division 5 earlier this weekend, Darlington defeated Edgar 22-14. Jefferson in Division 3 defeated Spooner 20-16, and I know that the players from Shell Lake were in support of the Spooner team. Those two communities only about, what, 10 miles away?
Not even that, 4 miles. They're
4 miles.
Their two communities overlap each other, really.
And Spooner lost. I know Shell Lake was here to watch that game yesterday. And Appleton West was a loser in Division 1 to Kenosha Tremper. Tremper, the winner there, 17-14. So the margins of victory have been 8 points, 4 points, and 3 points in the 3 games played so far. And that means that coming down to the last couple of minutes, the game was up for grabs.
Yeah, all 3 games yesterday were up for grabs in the last few minutes. I don't believe there was anybody that left early.
Yeah, that's right. Both teams. And so what that shows, close games, even competition. That says something about competition in the state, too, I think, when you don't have routes in the championship game. So we're getting set to go here in a 0-0 game, which has all the potential to come down to the final couple of minutes. And, of course, that would be exciting to go into overtime for a state championship game. We'll worry about that a little bit later on. Highland to kick off, and we are set to go in the second half. A squib kick, and it goes out of bounds at the 27. Now, is there a choice in here?
They would have the option of taking the ball at that point or having Highland kick the ball over.
It'd be at the 27, and that is draws a marker. I don't know. I'd say if I was Shell Lake, what are they going to say? Look back to Coach Mark Kane. He says, let's go. We're ready. They decline it, and so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Shell Lake Lakers as Wayne Krantz, quarterback for Shell Lake in the first half, 3 for 11, 22 yards, and the interception, which the defense was able to hold off. So not particularly outstanding, and you look for him, Brad, to come back here in the second half.
I think Wayne will. He's an exceptional quarterback, has a good arm, and I look for him to become a little more accurate.
They give on the right side to Durand off the right tackle and only gets a yard or two before Hebkin, John Hebkin for Highland to make the stop. As you see there, Mike Durand had a couple of touchdowns against Lena in that wild, no, that was Lena. That was their state semifinal game, 25-13. Shell Lake defeated Lena. 2nd and 9, and the pass over the middle. And again, leading Benzer just a little bit too much.
I think his receiver, Chad Benzer, hesitated a little bit there. Wayne Cran's leading him, and the hesitation caused the incompletion.
That's the kind of things that you work on and you work on and you work on from August all the way through, and if somebody hesitates, you go back to the huddle and say, I don't know why, just stop it. But that's the timing and the chemistry that you talk about to make a football offense go. And the screen, nicely done out to Durand, but he could not get by the tackle of number 41, Frank Rose, who holds the play to just a gain of a couple yards, and that play had more potential than that.
Yeah, if he could have got to his blockers back to the inside the field this time, he could have turned it into a big gain.
As we'll see, Rose adjusting nicely. If anything, the pass got him outside too far, and as you said, the blocker is not there. So a punting situation for the Lakers. And again, in the third quarter here, they'll have the wind at their back as Durand gets a beautiful punt taken at the 33 by Nondorf to the 46-yard line. A nice return by number 20, Tony Nondorf, a 6'1", 155-pound senior. And there's an injured player back near the line of scrimmage for the Cardinals, as we'll see the return by Nondorf. Almost a clip there. Nondorf, kind of the open field expert for Highland, and Bruce Hebkin said, I never really know what Tony Nondorf's going to do when he gets the ball. As we take a look at the injured player, see a number in there?
Haven't been able to pick it out yet.
That's 42, Riggles. Gary Riggles, the junior running back. He's nodding his head saying, I think I'm okay. Now he will, is the high school rule the same? He'll have to come out for a play?
He'll have to go out for one play.
As John Hebkin in the first half, not particularly good, 3 for 12 for 30 yards. And as the game goes on, I think these quarterbacks have to just throw off a poor first half and say, okay, I can still do it, right?
I think that the caliber of these two quarterbacks, they'll do that.
His dad, Bruce Hebkin, watching from the sidelines. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. No score here in the third quarter. And Hebkin rolling out on the sweep, and again, nothing there. And again, great defense. 44, Ken Ailport, and one other player in there also. As I can see where Ailport is such an outstanding player, and all conference, 200 tackles on the season in 12 games, the junior.
That's being all over the field.
That's a lot of tackles. We've talked about a lot of yards for Hebkin offensively, but 200 tackles in 12 games.
He is a big key to their defense from his linebacker position.
2nd and 10, and Hebkin back to pass, getting pressure, and gets, no, he doesn't. He throws it, intercepted by Ailport. And a flag on the play. Now, wait a minute. There's a flag on the play, but the ball was intercepted. Was he down, or was it grounding?
Officials
they
are
call it
grounding.
Grounding. Now, don't recall seeing this before. Will the interception stand?
I don't believe they blew a whistle, so they'll give Shell Lake the option of taking the interception.
As you see, the pass was probably intended for number 85, Josh Terrell. Just a great effort to get it off, and almost complete, but Ailport coming over there and makes the interception. So you're right, Brad. Oh, no.
Shell Lake does decline the penalty. They'll take over.
The ball. Okay. I thought I saw the Highland setting up in an offense. And so a turnover, and a big one it is, the first interception by Shell Lake. Taking over at their own at the Highland 48, and the sweep to the right. The quarterback, Krantz, getting running room, and collared out of bounds at the 39-yard line. And that's a gain of about 8 yards. And again, that's not a pass option. That's a run all the way.
That's run all the way, and Wayne Krantz, again, he does have excellent ability, and showing it here on this play.
As we see the turnover starting to mount here, this is the first one that Shell Lake has been able to take advantage of, as Highland turned it over once on that interception. 2nd and 1. And they give it to Durand and stopped, but not before he got first down yardage. Oh boy, in a game like this, any points become oh so important because you doubt whether you can score again. Shell Lake's penetration, I believe, in the first half, just trying to recall, was somewhere around the 20-yard line.
Right.
Right now they're at the 36 and a 1st and 10. To give up the middle to Ailport, he's stacked up by Hebkin and held right there for a gain of about 2. So it'll be 2nd and 8.
Shell Lake going to their power I series here, just trying to run straight at the Highland defense.
Well, Hebkin, number 16 right there, he's the quarterback, but he's also being looked at as a linebacker. In fact, it's early in the recruiting year, but Bruce Hebkin, his father, said that a couple of Division II schools are looking at him as a linebacker.
He does have the size, being 6'2" and over 200 pounds.
Still has the ball, gets away from a tackler, and throwing it long. And who has it? Touchdown! What a great catch by Benzer. Chad Benzer took it away from a couple of defenders. Touchdown for Shell Lake. It's 6-0.
Chad Benzer showing his athletic ability. He's done that many times over the year. The receiver of his caliber can make a quarterback look good in the statistic column, and just like that, he goes up, takes it away from another defender, and Shell Lake's got their 6 points.
Getting away from Rose, a nice job by Krantz, and throwing it, and the catch took it away from number 3, and now trying for the extra point. The snap is high, the kick is up, and it is good, as Kurt Hebkin was the defender back there, and Shell Lake leads it on a 36-yard pass, and they now lead it by a score of 7-0. This is your 1991 WIAA Football Championships. So, a big play for the Lakers of Shell Lake, as they're able to get the pass, and again, athletic ability coming through. Krantz getting away from a potential tackle, and then Benzer coming in and making a great catch, and Shell Lake now leading Highland 7-0.
Now we'll see how the Highland team will react. Being down 7-0, I don't believe they've been at that point throughout the season, and now their offense has to come back and see if they can answer the call.
We'll take another look at the touchdown play just completed. There's the tackle missed, throws it up for grabs. Benzer takes it away from one defender, and the other was behind. He fell into the end zone for the touchdown.
Chad Benzer, not being a little receiver, he is 6'2" and about 180 pounds, and with great strength.
Well, he used his height there, and Highland trailing now, and on the return, Laufenberg gets it out to the 32-yard line, and Highland will start from there. So we'll see the resolve here of the Cardinals, as it's a 34-yard pass play from Krantz to Benzer.
Being able to capitalize on the turnover that Highland had.
That's right. That's a big point after the turnover. And the PAT was good by Olson, and it's 7-0. And back to pass, and throwing it out in the right flat, complete, and knocked out of bounds immediately. A gain of, well, actually just about a yard is all, as Hebkin hit Rose out there. Here's the play again. Caught it and quickly out of bounds. And it's a gain of a couple, so it'll be 2nd and 8 from the 33 for Highland, trailing it now 7-0. Throwing it out in the flat, caught there and hit immediately, but a good pass and a good catch, and Nondorf makes the catch. You take it, Brad. Down and out, huh?
Down and out, and Wayne Cran's on the defense for Shell Lake. Comes up, makes an excellent tackle, but not before the first down.
So Highland gets the first down at their own 42-yard line, and equipment repair for Nondorf, who probably had his helmet shaken up just a little bit. Those turnovers, you've been talking about it most of the first half, and the turnover became critical here in the third quarter.
Game is such where the score is 0-0. Those are the type of things, two evenly matched teams that can decide it.
7:50 remaining, third quarter, and Hebken back to pass again, has the open alley there and hits his man Nondorf at the 49, the 50-yard line. Well, okay, now that's 2 straight passes where Highland has thrown it out in the flat. Were they listening to our conversation at halftime?
They were listening.
You think they made that adjustment, though?
Yeah, I'm sure they did. Seeing that Shell Lake was laying back deep, taking away the deep routes, not giving them the home run so-called play, and now they're just throwing underneath. I'm sure you're going to see the out and up come again eventually.
Well, you keep on hitting the underneath, and then that sets up the long play. So Hebgen looking over from the I formation and throws it way out there, and it's almost complete and almost intercepted. Threw it out for Nondorf out there, and again Krantz there to break it up.
Wanted to just give him a chance to run underneath of it again. Wayne Krantz being there to break it up.
Well, again, you know, these players, these teams rely so much on the same plays. Athletic ability has gotten them success before, but when you run up against another team of great athletes, the plays that worked all through the year sometimes don't work.
Which is evident right there.
2 good athletes out there on a big play. 3rd and 2. And the give to Rose, gets to the outside. Looks like he just barely did get a first down. So Frank Rose, an all-conference player in the Blackhawk Conference, 5'8", 165-pound senior. 928 yards on the season, averaging about 5.8 a carry. So he's been the leading runner for Highland. 1st and 10, and they're into Shell Lake territory. They give up the middle to Riggles. Oh, an excellent tackle there, and that saves a few more yards. Who else? Ailport. If he doesn't make that stop, it's 10 more.
And Kenny Ailport showing, we talked about him making 200 tackles on the season. He's been all over the field, and as you say, he doesn't make that one, and he's into the secondary, and it's a bigger gain yet.
Keep your eye on 44 if you want to see where the ball is going to end up. 2nd and 7, a gain of only 3, and Hebken rolling left. Boy, look at the pressure, but he finds his man and complete near the 42, the 41-yard line, and that's complete to Terrell, Josh Terrell, a 6'4", 185-pound senior who's caught 28 passes coming into this game. And now he's got a couple more, I know, today, so he's up to about 30, 31. Look at the pressure. 4 guys coming in on Hebken.
John Hebken stands in there nicely, though, and delivers the ball for a completed pass.
1 of 9, Highland on the 3rd down conversions, and this is 3rd and 5. Watch out. Sack hit from behind. The sack made, and an excellent one by Eric Holmson.
From his outside linebacker position, he comes on the blitz, and nobody picks him up and blindsides John Hebken for a sack.
And that's a big 3rd down sack, forcing Highland to punt. Watch 53. Nobody blocked him. And here comes the punt for Highland into the wind. And it's picked by Benzer, but he did call a fair catch. Was that Benzer or Duran? And the fair catch made at the 17-yard line. A 37-yard punt by Thelorn. And Shell Lake now with the ball and the lead. .4:59 remaining third quarter. Brad Ayer and Ken Syke bringing you the game here from Camp Randall Stadium as Shell Lake in their second appearance, actually second appearance at the state tournament here, trying to bring home a state championship. They have the lead and the ball, and they give to the up back. Elport gets a couple of tough yards out near the 20-yard line. Now we'll see if their calls get a little more conservative, right?
I was just going to say that. Now you'll see a little conservatism here. You got a lead. You're inside your own 20. You don't want to have the turnover here, and I'm sure you'll see that from Coach Kane's calls.
Well, I notice the wind picked up a little bit. I'd estimate it now maybe 10 to 15 miles an hour, according to the flags here at Camp Randall Stadium, and the wind at the back of Shell Lake here. 2nd and 7. And the pitch to Duran running left. And, breaks the tackle across the 25 near first down yardage. Boy, made a lot out of a little there, as it looked like that play was well strung out.
Nice move by Mike Duran. He did get a couple nice blocks late there to seal some people in, and I think he hurdles one would-be tackler and turns it into close to a first down.
Harrow couldn't make the tackle. Nondorf overran it. And the second back's in there to make the tackle, just short of a first down. That was a big play for the Lakers. Third and 1. Right up the middle, good yardage for Krantz. And out to the 34-yard line. So often you see that on the short yardage play. If you can get by that initial charge, you can get about 5, 6, 7, 8 yards.
Shell Lake designs that play, really. You'll see Crayons kind of hesitate and dive to his left rather than go straight up the middle, and they just wedge the football or wedge block, and he runs off the backside of it.
So a 1st and 10 for the Lakers, and again, they lead at 7-0 here with 3:38 to go in the third quarter. And the pitch to the outside for Duran has the blocking, cuts back, and gets a couple of yards. Now, they're running that more here in the second half, those 3 backs in the backfield. What do you call that? The eye with...
Power eye.
Power eye, okay. And that's to just get the extra blocker in there?
Yeah, it's more of a ball control style offense. You want to hit more straight north and south, and you have that extra blocker in there.
And yet they run the wide play from that formation as they did just there. So the power eye once again. The wide receiver out to the left side. And the pitch is comes back up again. And this is Benzer, and makes a lot out of what looked like could be a loss.
Could have been disastrous also if he doesn't field that fumble, and Highland recovers.
Now, what is this with these fumbles being dropped? This is the second one we've seen where they come right back up.
Playing on AstroTurf.
Yeah, maybe you probably don't see that. Down, comes back. Well, it's good hands also, or both in that case. But it's almost like the players expect it, you know. And gets out of bounds. What a gain of about... They marked it out a little bit earlier at the 41. They need to get to the 45, and a little confusion there, so Shell Lake calls a timeout. It'll be a 3rd and 4 for the Lakers. There's Mark Kane, the head coach again from the state of Indiana, and in his first year, and I think of all these football coaches who have coached teams for years and years trying to get their team into the state football tournament, and here's a coach who comes into a situation with some talent but does a good job also, and in his first year as head coach brings them here into the state championship game.
You got to give Mark a lot of credit. He's just done an exceptional job with the boys. And again, like I say, I know Mark would want to compliment his staff on it also. It's just a combined effort by the whole group.
Back in 1980, Shell Lake defeated Cassville 13-7 in the Division V football championship game. So they already have one football championship. As you see, Mike Durand is getting up near 100 yards, 85 yards, and that average is important. He's averaging over 5 a carry. And Shell Lake also made this football tournament in 1981, but did not reach the state level. And so here's Krantz back to pass, a screen, and gets it out on the right side to Durand with blockers there and out of bounds at the 48-yard line. So successful with that screen. That's about the third time they've run it.
One of Shell Lake's favorite pass plays, just from the history of their team, and they set it up really well, get the blockers out in front of Mike Durand, and he turns it into a first down.
And that'll help Krantz get a little confidence back. He's been, we've seen him double pump a few times and be a little hesitant on passes over the middle, but the short stuff helps bring the confidence of a quarterback back, doesn't it?
That's right. Wayne Krantz delivers the ball right on the money, and as you said, give him a little bit more confidence and give him a chance to put in a few more completions.
Shell Lake leading it 7-0, and they're driving. Have it at the 47-yard line of Highland. And it's 1st and 10. Now the wishbone backfield. And the give to Durand, and a little confusion there in the backfield, and he gains maybe 1.
Shell Lake showing yet another offensive look, and I don't think you'll see them in that too much.
Well, they had a little confusion even getting it going, as Krantz's numbers are coming up a little bit here from the halftime. He's now 6 for 15, and of course 34 of those yards of the 73 were on the touchdown pass. Now they'll go back to the power I. And the give to Durand, and hit immediately and taken down. Ed Fredericks on the stop. And the Highland fans appreciate that defensive effort. .145 remaining, third quarter. And it seems like just Shell Lake's taking their time, no hurry.
7-0 lead.
That's right.
They've moved the ball from their own 19, got a couple first downs, and basically are trying to use up the clock.
Back to pass is Krantz, looking left, and sacked. 2 tacklers in on the play. Dale Cagill, 74, and Mike Ade, 77. And that's a loss of a few yards, and that'll bring it up to 4th down and a punting situation. So the Highland defense rises to the occasion.
Good charge from the defensive line by Highland, putting the pressure on Krantz and eventually sacking him.
There's Ade coming in there, and Cagill, kind of half sack for each. So 4th and 12. And back to punt is Durand. It's another low line drive, comes right to Nondorf. Oh, he fumbles it, and covered by Highland. Who was that? 22 on the recovery for Highland, and that is Jesse Tanner, who's in on the special teams, and the junior makes a big play.
That is a big play. It could have been a real game breaker for Shell Lake. Now Highland's got their offense back on the field with a chance to see if they can put some points on the board.
Ty Hopke's tackle forced the fumble, but Tanner was there to cover it, and now Highland trailing at 7-0, and we're in the final minute already of the third quarter. And they give up the middle to Riggles, breaks a couple of tackles, and gets it across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Well, Gary Riggles had a nice game against Marshall in the state quarterfinal game. Again, he comes in and out on every play, and he really is one of those players that has developed as the years gone along, is number 42, Riggles, and has really gotten a lot bigger this season also. That is the end of the third quarter. And Shell Lake leads Highland by a score of 7-0 in the Division 6 football championship game. This is your 1991 WIAA football championships. Okay, Ken Syke and Brad Ayer here. And Brad, if you're Highlands coach Bruce Hebkin and you're thinking, well, we might have the ball this time and maybe one other time, we've got to really get better field position and move it.
Yeah, you don't go away from your game plan at this point yet. 7-0, one touchdown difference. Like I say, you just don't abandon what got you here. I'm sure you'll see them try to do the things that did get them here, and I'm sure their players are not too worried about that either at this point.
Just determination and trying to go back with what's gotten you here in this game, what's worked, and that seems like the shorter passes.
That's right, the shorter passes. They've had a little success running the football to the outside, especially by John Hebden, the quarterback, and those are the things that I think you'll see.
All set to go here in the fourth quarter. Shell Lake leading Highland 7-0, but the Cardinals have the ball and have a short yardage situation to get a first down. And they give it to Riggles, and he does have a Highland first down. And in this fourth quarter, again, the wind picking up just a little bit here, 10 to 15 miles an hour now, and Highland will have the wind to their back.
Yeah, that should aid their passing game and give them a chance when if they do have to get into that position to have a little better chance of completing those passes.
Chad Benzer, 34-yard touchdown catch from Wayne Krantz is the difference in this game so far. And a point after touchdown. They give up the middle and nothing there. Great defensive read and adjustment. And who else made the tackle? Ken Ailport.
Defensive line for Shell Lake gets a good charge and kind of stuffs the offensive line right there, and Kenny Ailport there to clean up on it.
As well as Ty Hopke in on that defensive play. Yes, it is a beautiful day here at Camp Randall Stadium. Sunny, temperatures in the mid-40s for November, 16th? Can't beat that. And an interesting game. Highland on 2nd and down to Riggles on the counter play. And a fumble recovered by the Lakers. Was he down before he fumbled? Aaron Smith on the fumble recovery.
Officials are going to rule that it was a fumble and it will become Shell Lake's ball.
Riggles fighting for the extra yardage. We'll see him get hit here. Fighting, and just that arm movement lost the ball and recovered by the Lakers. Aaron Smith, you see, has reached that left arm out and trying to protect for the fall, and now first down play to give up the middle and a couple of yards for the Lakers, and now a second turnover here by Highland in the second half, and we'll see if Shell Lake can capitalize, and both Highland turnovers have come here in the second half. So it'll be 2nd and 7 from the 32. And the give to Duran. He fumbles it and recovers it himself. Now the football has been on the turf here quite a bit in the last few minutes.
Don't know if he really had the handle from the handoff, and fortunate to get on the fumble himself.
I'll tell you, this right here is a big fumble with the potential for Highland recovering. And if you're Mark Kane for Shell Lake, you're thinking, hey, field goal even gets us 2 scores up.
That would really put the pressure on the Highland team. I know for sure now they haven't been behind in games.
Intercepted by Highland. Nondorf at the 40. Cutting back and down at the 46-yard line. So they put it up, and the pass is just behind Benzer, and Nondorf intercepts, and Highland's in business.
The break that Highland was looking for, get them back in good field position. Now they have a chance to see if they can't tie it up or even go ahead.
The pass intended for Benzer was instead ahead of him and intercepted by the senior, Tony Nondorf. Breaks it, or gets away from a tackle there and gets it back to the 46. So suddenly a game that hadn't seen many turnovers, in fact I think we had just 2 in the first half, now has 3 in the last quarter plus.
Those types of things in a close ball game can sure change the complexion, which it has here. You had Shell Lake with just excellent field position, looking at trying to tack on another score, and now you got Highland looking for either a tie or a go-ahead possibility.
Well, if they are to score a touchdown, that extra point becomes big. And to give up the middle to Riggles, breaks a tackle to the 40. Now they like that counter play with the fullback. Is counter the proper term? It's kind of a misdirection.
Fullback trap. He starts out in another direction. They pull a guard and try and trap the inside tackle of Shell Lake, and there you see it on the replay, which they do, and that's just a basic fullback trap play.
That's an excellent camera angle to show the trap there. Give up the middle, not much there though. A yard or 2, and that'll leave a 3rd down and about 3. A long 3. The attendance this morning and afternoon here at Camp Randall Stadium, and this really says a lot for these two communities. 3,706 for this Division VI championship game, and again coming from small communities and perhaps a few other football coaches watching here.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
3rd and 3. Hebken back to pass and throws it over the middle. Intercepted. Wayne Krantz is there on the deflection, and Shell Lake will take over at their own 28.
Nice concentration on the deflection by Wayne Krantz.
Well, Hebken tried to force it in there. Let's see it again. This time he had a little more time and tipped by one of the defensive backs there. He was trying to hit Rose. Didn't see who tipped it, but Krantz on the interception. Duran powering behind his blockers. He fumbles it. What's going on?
Somebody oiled the football.
Well, they recover it, though, and might get a 1st down out of it.
Well, I know there's 2 coaches that are getting a lot of gray hairs or becoming bald or whatever here that seeing the ball bouncing around like that.
Bruce Hebken saying, what's going on? Get some of these. Duran, here you see the legs moving. You've been talking about that all afternoon, and somebody pried it loose and recovered by, it looked like, 74. That'd be Jeremiah Johnson. Well, 7:38 to go. Shell Lake still a 7-0 lead. What are you thinking right now? I know coaches are always thinking of what's going on now.
From an offensive standpoint, they want to pick up the 1st down, see if they can't tack on 2-3 1st downs in a row. Not make the mistake, give Highland a chance to retaliate and score. I think that's what you'll see them do here.
That last interception was a big one because the clock moving at 7:30. And Duran right up the middle, and 1st down yardage as they were just short on the previous play. So they have the 1st at their own 42. And what this does for Shell Lake, if they don't turn it over, is that even if they have to punt, they're sending Highland back 30, 40 yards again.
That's correct, and the clock is becoming their ally, and the more they take off, like I say, if they keep picking up a 1st down here, 1st down there, and punt them deep into their own territory, they've got to go a long distance.
That's right. So 1st and 10 for the Lakers, as Durant at 99 yards right now on 20 carries. And on that carry, he will not get 100 yards. In fact, he might be back to 98. Little confusion there in the backfield. I'm not sure if they had that one worked out properly. Lost the yard, so he's back to 98. Remember one time, wasn't there a Packer running back who was at 1,000 yards once in the last game of the season, lost yards on the last play of the game, and lost his 1,000-yard season?
I believe you're right on that.
6:38 to go. Clock becomes the center of attention. They give to Durand up the middle. He's got 100 yards now, out to the 45, perhaps the 46-yard line. Looks like he's even running lower now than he had been earlier.
He's getting his shoulders down and hanging on to that football. I'm sure Coach Kane has told him, hey, we don't want to fumble that thing. Keep your shoulders down, keep it protected, and get what you can.
Durand, 6'1", 200. Looks a little lanky for an I-back, but he really does a nice job behind his blockers. Third and long, and they give it to Durand once again as he gets through a little opening for a couple of yards, but they'll still be about 3 short. As Eric Holmson slightly injured on the play, he'll have to come off for one play.
What we were talking about a little earlier, Ken, Shell Lake becoming a little conservative. Now they want to punt the ball, see if they can't put Highland deep into their own territory.
So Durand is back to punt. Oh, and that could be a big penalty on Highland, as number 77, Mike Ade, jumped offside, I believe. Was he drawn? No. And that is a first down for Shell Lake. You talk about a big penalty.
That one is critical.
Ade just moved across, anticipating the snap, offside, first down, Shell Lake.
Oof. That was a costly one. It gives Shell Lake another 3 downs before they'd have to punt the ball, and again, the opportunity to get another first down.
Yeah, that's right. Potentially 3 downs or more. I think I know who's going to have this one. No, it's a pass, or at least, oh, and a fumble. And recovered by Shell Lake. Who picked it up? 64. Andy Kidder is the heads-up player to make the recovery. Now, sometimes maybe the hitting's just getting harder and the players are going for the ball more. But Krantz tried to run it up the middle and just had it poked loose. And I tell you, Kidder moved quickly to get on that.
Nice heads-up play by Andy Kidder.
Second and long, right up the middle. Durand, nothing. I think Highland's kind of caught on to the fact that it's just up the middle here. So it'll be 3rd and 11 for the Lakers, and the clock says 4:37 and counting. And the Highland fans looking anxious.
Watching the clock and say, slow down, and on the opposite side, Shell Lake's looking at it and said, come on, get going, get going.
Rolling right is Krantz, looking for some room. He's got it, and he's in the open at the 30. Pulled down from behind by Nondorf, but it's a first down.
We got a flag back about the midpoint of his run. We'll have to see what that is.
The umpire was the one who dropped it, and it's a hole. We haven't had a lot of penalties here, and this comes at a big time. Oh, I'm sure they'll take it. Let's see if we can pick up the hold on the replay. Great effort by Krantz. Cuts it back. And Nondorf was the player who brought him down. A couple other players had angles. He might not have gone all the way. But the holding penalty will bring it back, and so it'll be 3rd and 6. So it takes away the effect of the first down on that play. They still could get it, though.
Yeah, the penalty is taken from the point of infraction. It was downfield 10 yards from the point of infraction, so they'd still have 3rd down over and a chance to pick up the first down.
4:09 remaining in the game. Shell Lake leading 7-0. From the power eye, Durand looking to get outside, finds a crease, first down.
Mike Durand just making an excellent cutback and following his blockers and giving him the chance to pick up the first down, which he does.
That was an excellent run. In following his backs, his blockers, Ailport one of them, good block there, and then he had the sense to cut it back and got what he needed before his opposite, Hebkin, pulled him down from behind. So that's going to mean another minute and a half at least on the clock. France to Duran, this time going left and a couple of yards. And another factor right now, are they in 4-down territory?
They're getting within that distance. They're down to the 23-yard line for a first down. I'm sure if they got within a couple of yards, they would go for it.
Clock running, as you see, 3:22. And Highland probably in the position here to start thinking about timeouts. Again, the power I formation. France rolling left, and he's not going to throw it. Ooh, what a hit. What a stick there by Ed Fredericks.
Just a crushing tackle. It's surprising that Wayne Krantz is able to hold on to the football. Did take his helmet right off him. He's got to make some equipment changes here.
Let's take a look at it again, and I think what they had Krantz slowed down, and Fredericks was able to come up. He's held there. Ooh, that's still a good hit. Nice play by Fredericks. We've been calling his name a lot defensively for Highland.
Yeah, he's just all over the field also and having a big game for them.
6 of 14. Shell Lake has improved their third down conversion here in the second half. And a big third down up the middle. Duran, ooh, look at him power. But he needed a lot more than that. He needs to get down to the 23. And Highland calls their first timeout. I believe that's their first of the second half.
That's their first time out, and Shell Lake coming with a big fourth down situation here from the 31-yard line. They've got to make a decision. Do they want to go for the first down, or do they want to try and poocher punt, we call it, put it deeper into the Highland territory and rely on their defense?
7-0, Shell Lake leading in the fourth quarter. This is the 1991 WIAA Football Championships. So, what do you think Shell Lake will do, Brad?
That's a good question.
I know you don't know, but I mean,
Yeah.
it really is a 50-50.
Yeah. The way their defense has been playing, I would say is here, put it up high, try and put it inside the 5 or 10-yard line and rely on your defense. Now, having played them, I do know they have a couple, 3 different serious fake plays, so
Well,
don't be surprised at that either.
let's see if Shell Lake can win that gold trophy there, the team trophy, as they lead it right now 7-0. And they're in punt formation with Duran back there. And he does kick it. And they do well to let it go into the end zone, and it does go into the end zone. So it's a gain of about 11 yards for Shell Lake. The line of scrimmage was the 31, and Highland will take over with 2:27 to go, trailing 7-0, and 2 timeouts.
80 yards away, you're going to see the ball in the air more than likely. You're going to have to. Shell Lake knows that. They're going to try and get some pressure on John Hegburn, and hey, it's going to be an exciting finish.
It will be an exciting finish, and I tell you, well, and Shell Lake calls a timeout. They want to set things up right here, but I just have a feeling that with the pressure that Shell Lake has been getting on Highland, that will come into play somehow.
That's a big point. They have been getting pressure on him and forcing him to throw the ball maybe a little sooner than what he wants to, or off balance, and Shell Lake secondary possibly can take advantage of that.
Forcing John Hebkin, an outstanding quarterback, to throw the ball up a little bit earlier than he'd like to. As you see Mark Kane going over things with his Shell Lake team. They've been in some critical situations. Again, that game that they had, it was against Clayton in 4 overtimes, 46-40.
Each team had an opportunity to win that football game, and they started at, I believe, 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon and finished it at 6:30. The temperature of the game when they started was something like 15, and when they finished, it was 0.
Oh. And Mark Kane said it was the most spectacular game I have ever seen.
4 overtimes, it's hard to beat.
And they scored in one of the overtimes on 4th down and 15 yards.
That's correct.
So Hebkin rolling right to pass Throwing long, intercepted. Intercepted by Krantz, back to the 35, and down at the 30. So the first pass of the drive is intercepted. They went for it long on first down.
I don't believe we wrote the script, but he did get pressured and again had to throw the ball probably a little sooner than what he wanted to. Got a little too much on it, and it's picked off.
And this is, if it's Krantz on the interception, there he did get the pressure. His arm was hit. And Krantz makes a nice play as it was intended for Thielorn. And Krantz a second interception here in the fourth quarter. And so now the run by Duran and the tackle after no gain. Well, the clock says 1:52 and counting. Highland's going to have to start using their timeouts here. Look at the difference in rushing, though, and that might be as telling as the turnovers. 137 yards for Shell Lake to just 36 for Highland.
Credit Shell Lake's defense. The interior people there just doing a terrific job.
Rolling out to the right. I'd be shocked if he threw it. Breaks two tackles and gets it inside the 30. It'll be third down, and Highland calls their second timeout. Now let's do some mathematics here. 1:21 to go. They've got one more timeout. Looks like they might get it with just a few seconds to go.
That is, if Shell Lake doesn't get a first down.
That's right. Presuming that. Now Shell Lake might be punting or not also. So the Shell Lake defense has really been a factor here. And again, assistant coach Dennis Williams getting the credit from the head coach Mark Kane. It's just improved so much, he said, over the season. They've played aggressively and they've played smart, and they certainly have done that here. And the other factor in my mind in this second half has been the turnovers by Highland.
Big part of the game, especially you get to a championship game. I know that Highland's not used to having turnovers as such, and then especially being behind and have it take place. And now basically they've got to go after the ball, try and strip it, try and create a turnover of their own.
4 turnovers here in the second half, unofficially. Oh, they do a reverse, and out in the open is Benzer, and he did get the first down. Boy, there's a gutsy call as they ran the flanker reverse?
Flanker reverse to Chad Benzer. Again, that's a play that Shell Lake's been noted for, especially with Benzer having the athletic ability that he has. And like you say, at this point of the game, hey, what a gutsy call, but yet it turns out to be a big one for a first down, and you can run just that much more time off the clock.
Got some blocking out front, leaped forward. He had to get to the inside the 20, and he just barely did for a first down. And a first down means that they can take care of the rest of the game as we're down to 50 seconds on the clock. Highland has just the one timeout remaining, and there's a flag on the play. I'm sure it's too much time, delay of game. But Shell Lake will win the Division VI championship, barring a turnover.
I don't think you will probably see that. You'll see Wayne Krantz take the ball, kneel down, and he may have to do that twice, but Shell Lake's going to take home that gold ball.
Well, that means a lot for the Lakeland Conference, and Brad, as a coach in the Lakeland Conference, you have to feel pretty good about this, huh?
Well, we knew our league was balanced this year. We knew the team that came out of it, whoever survived, was going to be a good representative, and Shell Lake's showing that today.
They give it to Ailport as he piles through the middle there. Gets back to 5 yards on the penalty. Highland takes their final timeout of the half with 36 seconds to go. So a lot of excitement in Shell Lake and the Lakeland Conference as they are going to make that one score stand up. It came after a turnover on Kenny Ailport's interception. Again, it was that play where Hebken was going down and just threw it up for grabs. Not up for grabs. He had a receiver in mind, and it was behind the intended receiver, Terrell, and Ailport intercept. And then a couple plays later, Krantz to Benzer, 34 yards, and a great play by Benzer at the goal line, falling into the end zone for the touchdown. And the extra point was by Olson. And that made it 7-0. And the Lakers are making that one score stand up for a state championship. Be 2nd and 10. And they give it to Ailport, and he gets a little running room and gets about 3 yards.
Shows you how conservative I am. I'd be having my quarterback just fall down.
Well, if you can call a flanker reverse in the last minute of the game to get a first down, Mark Kane willing to... You got to remember this next year, right? If
That's
you get
right.
him in a tough position.
I'm taking notes here. How to win a state championship.
That should do it, as Highland is out of timeouts, and the Shell Lake Lakers win the 1991 Division VI State Football Championship 7-0 over the Cardinals of Highland. And there's the celebration. And what does this mean to this community of Shell Lake, winning a 2nd state championship in 12 years? Mark Kane and Bruce Hebkin shaking hands, and Mark Kane's probably a happy guy. He decided to move from Indiana and take over at Shell Lake, huh?
I'm sure he is, and I'm sure the whole community of Shell Lake, as well as the Lakeland Conference, Northwestern Wisconsin, are very proud of their team.
Shell Lake, a 7-0 winner over Highland in Division VI. This is the 1991 WIAA Football Championships. Mark Kane getting a mini ride on the shoulders of his victorious Lakers, as both teams will congratulate each other now on a very well-played game. And the thing that you tended to overlook through the season, and that's the defense, was the factor that really made it for Shell Lake here today at Camp Randall Stadium.
From a coaching standpoint, that's what we all feel. Your offense wins you games, your defense wins you championships. Both teams showed exceptional defenses out there today. Highland has nothing to hold their heads about. They played well. A couple turnovers here and there. The one key one that that set up the Shell Lake touchdown. They say they've got nothing to hold their head over. They played a whale of a season, ended up 12-1, and just a terrific job for them.
Well, Highland had 4 turnovers today. As we're back at Camp Randall Stadium and Shell Lake celebrating, Highland having 4 turnovers today. They had 4 turnovers in their last game against Cashton, and they had 6 turnovers against Marshall 2 games ago. So turnovers, the factor down the stretch for the Cardinals of Highland. Shell Lake celebrating the Division VI championship. Again, they won it back in 1980 when it was Division V at that time. And that means an awful lot. As you see, there's the combination that scored the winning touchdown, Krantz and Benzer. Very sweet feelings for the Shell Lake Lakers as they're about to receive their championship trophy and their championship medals. But first, Highland will be receiving theirs. So, Brad, Division VI championship game comes to your Lakeland Conference, and that must mean an awful lot.
Yeah, like I said before, it does show the balance of our league. Shell Lake having close football games throughout the year. We felt whoever did come out of our conference would be a good representative in the playoffs, and culminating here with a state championship does.
And that means an awful lot for the northwestern part of the state, and for the community of Shell Lake. You can't imagine the excitement. And for Highland, a lot to be proud of. They've had a tremendous season, losing their first game here and ending up 12-1, and a great senior class that Bruce Hebkin was so proud of, and his son John, and all the fine play that they had. Again, there's no embarrassment in being in second place in the state tournament.
And the coach of Division VI runners-up from Highland, Bruce Hebkin.
The award medals being presented there to the players, and now the silver trophy, which right now doesn't seem like much, but that'll take an honored place in the trophy case at Highland High School.
I know of a lot of other teams throughout the state that would like to be up there.
You included, right?
That's true.
And the Highland fans can celebrate as they lose it here by a score of 7-0. Now the captain's called out for the champion Shell Lake Lakers. And now we'll go to public address announcer Jack Rain for the continuation of this championship ceremony.
And the coach of the 1991 Division 6 state champions from Shell Lake, Mark Kane.
An awfully sweet feeling to hold that championship trophy, and Wayne Krantz is celebrating right there. It does feel great to win a state championship, and that's part of the fun of being in a state championship series, no matter what sport it is, and Shell Lake gets to celebrate most of all. They are a 7-0 winner over Highland. And Brad, just your overall impression on the game here this afternoon as Shell Lake wins it. We'll get a comment from Brad Ayer in just a moment. This is the 1991 WIAA Football Championships. Again, trying to sum it up here and just your feeling overall in the game. Did we see a representative, two good small school football teams playing here?
Well, I think that, first of all, that's obvious. They're both 12-0 coming in. I know from a fan standpoint, from our standpoint, we were expecting an offensive display. I know Coach Kane had said, hey, his defense is one of the reasons he was here, and I'm sure the Highland, their defense was one of the reasons they were here. Both of them stood out today. A few turnovers, key turnovers, and we have the difference in the football game.
Well, like I was saying earlier, a couple of turnovers in games leading up to this, perhaps an indicator, as Highland turned it over here 4 times in the second half, and that's a big factor why Shell Lake is celebrating right now. Ken Syke and Brad Hare here at Camp Randall Stadium, and Brad, you're like now 12 other teams falling to those Division 6 championships early this year, as Clear Lake, Brad's team, fell to Shell Lake way back early in the season in a close game. And actually, Mark Kane said that was one of our toughest games of the year, was losing to your team.
Yeah, they beat us 20-14, and actually on a pass play with about 7 seconds to go in the game. So it was a costly one for us also.
Probably think about that game often as you see Shell Lake right here, I bet.
Oh yeah, but hey, we all have to be proud of them. We're just glad they could get down here and win it.
And again, it does mean a lot for their section of the state and for their conference, and they will be taking that championship trophy home. So, Shell Lake the winner, 7-0 over Highland Cardinals. For Brad Ayer and for all our crew here, thanks for joining us. Once again, the final score from Camp Randall Stadium in the Division 6 1991 WIAA Football Championship game, Shell Lake 7 and Highland 0. So long, everybody.